Hey, what's going on, bros, women, brothers and gentlemen, call it, whatever the hell you want me to call you, all My Little Pony fans, you know what it is, you know what's up. So, anyways, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, ponies and gents, also, like I said, My Little Pony shit. This is the one and only Mr. Criticism Guy 2009, aka Nintendo for 2011, aka you already know the rest, because I already said in my part 1 video, I'm not going to go over it again, except for my Blitz TV, Shadow Sonic Criticism Deadman, same thing as my Steam account. So, add me there if you want. Talk to me on Twitter. Nintendo Fan 2012. You know the other 10 sites I'm on. So, like I was saying in part 1, which was actually 30 minutes and 17 seconds, which was basically a half hour, so I don't mind if I don't get any views on there at all, because nobody really wants to stay there 30 minutes talking about how good and kick-ass this anime was back in the day. So, without further ado, I was going to get more into Full Metal Alchemist, because the only thing I said in my first part of the video, right before I had to finish it yesterday, which was a Sunday, by the way. It's Monday now. Let me just check the day real quick. I didn't even know what today's date was. It was October 15th, 2012, which is a Monday. 2:15 West Coast Pacific time right now, if you wanted to know, just in case you cared. So basically, like I was saying, about Full Metal Alchemist, it came out in Adult Swim, and I know I was going the last time I did, greatest thing I could tell you about this anime, it had a lot of really great, amazing graphics. It was the first TV anime with a lot of blood and gore. It was the first anime that I ever watched with blood and gore. That's what I said before. Now, this is what I'm saying right now, and right now, when I say right now in the present, of October 15th, 2012, which is a Monday. Sorry I keep doing this. It's fun to do that. It's a habit. So, basically, when most, and I keep saying basically, excuse me on that, I do apologize on my behalf. Like I was saying, most of this anime is basically about, being a Full Metal Alchemist, being I forgot what they call it. They mess with this scientific, fantasy chemical called alchemy. They have to put this little thing, and a lot of people said that a lot of this shit is really satanic, and it's demon worshiping shit. Could be a part of the Illuminati. I don't know. I never did my research on this show being a part of the Illuminati. It could be, because they always, every time they do that little they don't even have to draw the circle, except for the main two characters that don't draw the circle is Edward and Alphonse, the Elric brothers. So it basically focuses on those two. And before I keep going, the first time I ever saw this episode was the original Full Metal Alchemist, not the Brotherhood version. I didn't watch the Brotherhood version until 2010. 8 or 9 fucking years after the original one came out. It was about this girl. I think she was one of the homunculus, but they didn't show her in the Brotherhood version. I think they just showed her on the original version. I think it was an uncut Japanese version, so I'm not sure. Even though I saw this on Adult Swim back when I was in 8th grade, when I was 14, 15 at that time, back in 03, 04, I was like, shit, man. They fought this homunculus. I don't know if she was a homunculus or she was just a real evil person. Her name was Siren. I don't know if any of you guys that are into Full Metal Alchemist, if you're really big on that anime, if you could tell me if that girl Siren was either a homunculus or just an evil person villain. And I would highly appreciate that. I'll even give you a shout out in my next video for sure. I'll plug you in, help me help you, Not sub for sub, but help me help you, tag shit, if you want. I can't stand tags and those chain letter shits from back in the days. They don't even call them chain letters anymore. They call them some other fucking word I cannot think of right now, because I really don't have the audacity to even fucking care. So, without further ado on that, basically this anime was about, them doing alchemy and shit like that, making this big this big giant circle, and then they'll put all these little symbols in it, and then they go boom, and then they do that. They put their, fucking palms on the ground, and they make, matter out of thin air, and they make these guns, they make these weapons, these spears, these swords, anything. Basically anything that they think, and they create out of, nowhere, out of, not straight out of thin air, but straight, from the ground, whether it's steel or rock or some shit, they can use it to their defense, their advantages. So, basically the whole background story is about these two kids. One of them's name's Edward, and the other one's Edward Elric, and the other one's Alphonse. Alphonse. Elric, the Elric brothers, you know. It's basically about them. Their mother gets really, really sick, and you know their father leaves them because he's a bastard. But like, and then Edward, he ends up hating his father a lot more than Alphonse did. For short, they usually just call them Ed and Al, but their full names are Edward and Alphonse Elric, aka the Elric brothers. So basically, let me just check the time really quick. And if you want to watch like someone else's view on this anime, you could probably watch it somewhere else on YouTube. They could probably explain it a lot more better than I can, if they're a Full Metal Alchemist fan, or any anime fan out there, obviously. Anyways, they're the ones that can do cosplay. But other than that, yeah, it's basically about them. Their mother gets sick. I think she gets some cancer, tuberculosis, and she ends up dying from her sickness or some shit, from her cancer, tuberculosis, like sickness. And then Ed and Al, you know, they basically mourn the loss of their mother, and like that's when they start like learning how to perform alchemy, which is like basically runs the whole world, obviously, the countryside and shit like that. And at this time, like this other event was called like this fantasy world was called the Isbalan War or something like that. Like it was the Isbalans that already knew about alchemy. They all thought it was evil and was all witchcraft and devil worshipping shit, you know. So they hated the ones that were the state alchemist police, but they would call them like the dogs. So they were like kind of like tyrannists that took over the countrysides and shit like that, because they were the ones that took control of the main city, the inner city, like the big city like New York or LA. But this was like the early, like in the time period they did this was like 1902, 1908. It was super, super old. It was like 120 years ago almost, or 110, 120 years. So way before, like, if it was real, it probably would have been way before my dad, me and my dad, my grandfather, probably my great-grandfather would have been alive back then. So, if it was real. It's fake, obviously. But it's kind of, there's a couple aspects to it that is kind of real. Like, they use the old school cars that they did in the 1900s. What else? Like the Wright brothers thing. They made the first airplane, made the first trains and shit. Only difference is still kind of fancy because they use alchemy and shit, you know? Other than that, they find a way to try to bring their mother back to life. Getting back to Ed and Al's point of view, you know, basically they do that shit. And then other than that, you know, they try to bring her back to life, and then like they did something warning, you know, they did this fucking warning or whatever. Because I know in the beginning of every episode they always say like alchemy was only meant to like, you know, make good things for people, like make them cars or make them buildings and shit like that. Protect good people, not fucking use it to bring people back to life. Because, like, as they said, if you use alchemy to bring people back to life, basically you're trying to play God, you know? And if you play God, of course you try to do that in real life, you'd probably be fucking killed for it. Because I do believe in God, you know, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I believe in that shit. I don't really follow that shit that much, but you know what? Because, you know, I actually even grew up in the church. It's just like I never really cared about it too much. So if I got any, like, Christian people out there, any religion people out there, you know, like, don't get on my ass for this. I just never really got into it. I'm sorry. That doesn't make me a bad, fucked up person where I'm just going to fucking murder, fucking kill, steal fucking shit from people, you know? I'm not going to cause, like, pointless acts of crime, you know? I'm not going to do that shit, you know? But that's a whole other topic. I'm talking about anime right now. So, once again, let me just check the time on this. And it's been almost 9 minutes. So, there we go. Hold on. I drink this water. I'm in thirsty shit already. Probably gonna have to get some more. Anyways, yeah. So basically, after getting to my point, you know, after they try to bring her back to life, they end up committing the ultimate taboo, aka like they do in every part in the beginning of the show. It's like alchemy. It was meant to serve for the better of mankind, but was never meant to bring humans back to life. And like it was basically like playing God. So they end up doing the ultimate forbidden taboo, excuse me. And then like they both end up getting sent to this other world where it's like it's not heaven, but it's like not hell. It's kind of like limbo. They're in like limbo land. And like unfortunately for Alphonse, like he saw everything. He saw the whole freaking thing. What is the meaning of life? And it gives you all the intelligence in the universe that you've always wanted to know. So you're basically, your mind is almost like God if you've seen the gate and shit. And like, the longer you stay in the gate, the more sacrifices, the more body parts you have to sacrifice. Like, you have to sacrifice your arm, your leg, your head, I don't know. or you'd have to sacrifice, I don't know, your foot, your toe, any part of your body you would have to sacrifice permanently if you wanted to know the meaning of life or any super intelligent shit out there, you know? And then what happens to Alphonse, he gets his whole body gone, while his brother Ed, he only got a little small portion of it because he ends up, he goes into the gate and he ends up learning all this shit and all these demons on him. I was like pulling his eyes and shit like that. Like, you gotta fucking watch this and shit like that. I'm like, no, it's enough, it's too much, I can't handle it. You know, that's Edward that was doing that. And then when he gets out back into the gate, and then this little thing is like, he looks like Slender Man a little bit. But then he ends up being like one of the homunculus later on, the same voice as him. He's pretty kick fucking ass. He looks like Conan from that Detective Conan thing that I told you about in my first video. Kind of looks like him a little bit. I forgot what his, I think his name was Pride, yeah. I don't know if it was Pride or not. I forgot what 7 deadly sins, because all the homunculus are based on the 7 deadly sins in real life. You know, gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, pride, and then what's the other one? Sloth, and then I forgot about the other one. I think chaos and destruction or some shit. But anyways, yeah, those are the 7 deadly sins, you know. I know envy. Envy is the weird one, because at first I thought envy was a girl, but it's actually a boy, because she always looked like a girl to me, but it was a boy, envy. And ends up being like a little chameleon, but that's, if I wanted to explain the whole series, that shit would take 3 hours. I'm not going to be here 3 hours. Anyways, like I was saying, you know, basically the whole thing is about fucking, them trying to bring their mother back to life, and oh yeah, after he gets out of the gate, where he ends up seeing that he lost his, like, arm or some shit. Like, he lost his leg and he lost his arm, so he's bleeding like crazy when he gets sent back to the real world. It's like, oh no, I'm dying. And, like, it's like, no, please send him back. He's my brother. He tries to bring him back, so he brings this, like, big army shield thing or something. So, since his whole body is gone, but he reattaches his soul to, Alphonse's soul to, like, just bring him back, and then he brings his soul back, but like, what's it called? He said he had to sacrifice his arm and his leg for it, so kind of sucks. So then after that, they go to see Winry, and their forgot what the old lady's name was. I think it was Kanapo, I don't know. But she was cool as shit though. She was fun. She reminded me of like Master Roshi, but a girl version. Yeah, she was fucking cool. Kanapo, I think. It started with a K. They call her like Granny or something, and like it was funny because like after that, like I was Winry's grandmother or grandmother, yeah, because her parents died and he was following her for Winry. And after that, like so you boys did the ultimate tattoo. You should never do that when you're sacrificing yourself. And like, and then basically most of the show is just about them defeating the homunculus, you know, getting anyone in their path. And then they join the state alchemist police, which ends up being the army, when they meet Roy Mustang and Mace Hughes and like I forgot the girl's name. She looks like Winry, but she's another blonde. Forgot what her name was. Fuck, she worked for Roy Mustang. Fucking forgot what her name was. Oh well. But yeah, you know, they fight all those homunculus, take all them down, and they gotta look for the Philosopher's Stone, which is this red thing, basically made out of human sacrifices. What it was really about. They don't learn that almost until the end of the anime, when it's like the last 5-10 episodes they start learning about it. And then at the end, like they finally get their bodies back. Alphonse, he's not a tin can anymore. He's not a shiny armor robot. He ends up getting his full human body back again. And then what's his name? Edward, he ends up getting his arm and his leg back again. So then everything ends up being right in the world. And they ended up making like 2-3 anime movies off of it. It kind of has to do with the Russian, like, German war from World War II. It's kind of like the real world getting mixed into, like, kind of like our world, the real world. Like, not the MTV bullshit, like the real shit, the reality world. Like, it fuses that with, like, the fantasy anime world, you know, which is real cool. Instead of, like, alchemy and shit like that, magic fantasy shit, in the real world here in not the U.S., like in Europe, it takes place in, like, Russia and Germany and all that shit, you know? So it's like, it talks about, like, science, like, for nuclear atomic bombs and shit, because it was like World War II when they go into, like, they fuse both of the worlds together. And instead of like the Isbalans being Isbalans, they end up being like gypsies in the real world, so like Egyptians and shit like that, and Arabs. So it kind of like, they mix real life with like anime, which is pretty fucking kick-ass, you know? Other than that, let me just check the channel pipe in 15 minutes. I'm gonna get done with the last 3 animes, and I'm gonna get through this really, really fast. So, that's not my list. This one. Okay, so number 3, Dragon Ball Z, GT, and Beyond. Let me tell you about this shit. This anime was one of the greatest fucking animes in fucking history of mankind, literally. Even though a lot of people said it was American anime, like, if it was American anime and I wasn't aware about this, because I wasn't aware about this until like last month, and someone on YouTube, they said, oh, this is American anime. Like, what? You're shitting me, bro. Are you serious? I thought this was from fucking Japan the whole time. Are you for real? And then when I found out about that, I was like, wow, that whole time was from the U.S. Are you shitting me? You know? But at the same time, I didn't fucking care, because I didn't even know about that. Basically, I'm not going to get too much into this, because basically the anime speaks for itself. You're going to have to watch somebody else if you want, like, get the whole detail on what Dragon Ball Z was about. I'm just going to get into the main topics of what it was about. It was about this little kid, in the Dragon Ball version, it was about this little kid named Goku. You know, he finds all these 7 Dragon Balls. He gets sent from Earth from a Super Saiyan planet, which was his father, Goten or something. I don't know if it was, no, not Goten, Bardock. He had the same hairstyle as Goku, and he ends up having a brother named Raditz, and then like I don't know if it would have been his cousin, like Vegeta or some shit, Nappa. They were like little kids at the time. And it was funny because like they don't get into that until Dragon Ball Z later on, after Dragon Ball's all over. So like basically it has to do with Goku. He's a little kid at the time, you know. He gets sent to Earth, and his mission, his real name is actually Kakarot, but his Earth name ends up being Goku because the guy that adopts him, Gohan, like his step grandfather. So after that, like he raises him to be a ninja and shit, so he learns all this fast, quick moves and shit like that. He doesn't know that he's a Super Saiyan or Saiyan from another planet that was sent from that planet to Earth to destroy the Earth and not to like live in it and be nice to everyone in it. So he basically failed his mission, but like it didn't matter. So other than that, he meets Bulma, so they get the 7 Dragon Balls, and they take on 1 billion organizations. They take on forgot what his fucking name, Emperor Pilaf. I remember now, Emperor Pilaf and Girl Maya and like the dog with that little ninja suit. I forgot his name. Her and the dog in the ninja suit. Maya was real fucking hot. And they meet all these other characters like Launch, and then they made the main characters like Krillin, what's his name? I don't know if it was Yajirobe. Yeah, Yajirobe, Yamcha, fucking, what's his name? Chaozu and Tien, the one with the 3 eyes, and Chaozu, that little, fucking, what's it called? He's like a little, clown thingy or whatever. And then there's Krillin, the one that does like that energy disc, like that or whatever, energy disc ball or some shit, you know? That's like a saw blade. Anyways, yeah, they fight all these organizations and shit, and they kill all of them. And then the last one after Dragon Ball's over, Goku at like 17, 18 or something, he ends up fighting Piccolo. And he ends up being like a demon from this other planet Namek, but they don't get into planet Namek until Dragon Ball Z later on. You know, he fights him, they both get defeated, and like at the end, like Goku does the last blow and he defeats Piccolo. And then after that, that's when they start off with the Dragon Ball Z area, which is the one I started watching, because I didn't watch Dragon Ball until way later after that. I started watching Dragon Ball Z. I never got to watch Dragon Ball, because I think it was like 92, 93 when it came out, and I was like 3 or 4 years old, so, not 34, 3 or 4 years old, you know? And I was like, oh, this shit's cool, it's pretty chill, it's cool, you know? Other than that, it was alright. And then, like, that's when they started fighting. Goku, basically, the ones that he fights in this, he gets the 7 Dragon Balls, obviously. He fights Raditz, he fights Nappa, he fights Vegeta, and then after, Nappa fucking, what's it called? After Nappa, gets defeated, because Nappa doesn't get defeated, Vegeta, he helps him up, he throws him off, sends him to another dimension. We sent you into another dimension, boom, and he blasts him over there, like, just blast the fuck out of him, you know? Blast the living shit out of him, literally. And he's like, why? And then like, oh well. And I think Goku, I forgot if he lives or he dies. I think that's when he has to go all the way, he runs all the way to the dragon, he goes on the dragon's tail where he's in like heaven or some place like that. And like, he runs all the way there, and he goes to King Kai's planet so he can get super trained, and he comes back to Earth. He gets revived from the Dragon Balls, and he goes all the way to planet Namek where he fights Frieza. But he doesn't get there until after like 20, 30 episodes later or something. He finally gets there. After all that hard, intense training goes through, like in Bulma's time capsule that her dad made for him. You know, He goes there, he ends up getting, like, defeats Frieza, and then he fights the Ginyu Force at the end. After they all get defeated, because those three end up going to Planet Namek first. Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta, they go there first before Goku, so they beat Goku already. So other than that, once Goku comes in, like, the last member of the Ginyu Force, I forgot what it was, if it was Zarbon or Zarbon was for Frieza, yeah. And after that, that last one, I think it was Captain Ginyu, he ends up getting transformed because he has his soul swap soul ability. Instead of swap souling into Goku, he swap souls into a frog. It's like, change me back, ribbit. It's kind of like a gag reel throughout the whole series. And then, like, he gets saved at the end, and then he finally gets, I think at the end of the series, he finally goes back into his regular body, and then he leaves everybody alone after that. And it's like, swap souls! And then, like, he swapped back into his regular body, Captain Ginyu. He kind of looks like Frieza, but a big, giant steroid version of Frieza. And they do this stupid little dance, where the Ginyu Force, And one of them had an Australia accent. He looked like Yamcha, but he had, like, orange skin and, like, white hair instead. He had, like, this Australian accent. It's like, I'm gonna kick your ass, or some shit, Funny, hilarious. I don't remember his name, because it was, like, 10, 11 years the last time I watched that shit. Hold on a second. 21 minutes. So, let's get my water. Once it's, like, 30 minutes, I'm probably gonna be done. So, other than that, I mean, if I had a flip camera thing, like, I'd be able to see, like, how much time I got, but unfortunately I don't have that kind of camera, so gotta deal with it. So, other than that, after he defeats the Ginyu Force, fights Frieza in all three of his forms, he gets it the first time. The second time, what made Goku go from Saiyan to Super Saiyan, like, is when he, like, kills Krillin, and, like, that's when he's in his third final evolution of, like, forms, and he goes in his fourth form at the end. That's where Goku turns into a Super Saiyan, because he, like, Frieza puts this little, like, spell thing on Krillin, and he's like, you die, you bastard, and then boom, he's like, help me, and then, like, Krillin dies, and then Goku, Vegeta, and, like, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, like, no, and then Zende's there, too, he's like, why, they're all mourning the loss of Krillin, because Frieza killed him, and she's like, who else wants a piece of this, and then, like, then Frieza sees that he sees that he makes Goku really pissed the fuck off, so he just goes Super Saiyan and goes, you'll pay for what you did, boom, and then he ends up going off Super Saiyan for the first time. Because before he went to Super Saiyan 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 later on. And that's the first time he went Super Saiyan, and like at the end when the whole plan's almost about to explode and blow up, like he ends up going under the fucking spaceship. Goku makes it out alive, but not freaking Frieza. Like, cause what's it called? Frieza, he ends up doing one of his like energy disc things. They're like purple. They look like Krillins, except they're purple instead of whitish gold. He does this one little energy disc, and like phew, like that. He does two of them, phew, and he's like super buff that time. He doesn't have the little horns anymore. It's just all like, he looks like Cooler almost, which is Frieza's brother in the future. Except he's not all chromium steel. He's just all human flesh, alien flesh, not human flesh. Other than that, like, and then one of them backfires, and then like it slices his body in half, and like no, and then like he can't move his body no more. So like he still tries to fight Goku, even though half of his body is gone. And then after that, like he tries to kill Goku, but then like he does this last final command. Man, it was Kamehameha. He does the spirit like bomb first, and then he goes Kamehameha, and then like pushes with all his might, and then like he kills Frieza once and for all almost. But then they find Frieza out there in outer space, and then Frieza's father finds him, and that's where the whole Trunks thing happens, when they go into the Cell saga, when it's all about Cell, and then like Trunks is from the future, and then Yamcha finds out, unfortunately, Bulma doesn't marry Yamcha, he marries Vegeta, or she marries Vegeta, excuse me, and after that, shit gets crazy, and then Frieza comes back, and like he's not all buff like he was before, but he can't go back into his regular form when he had horns, so he stays like that for the rest of his life, which sucks. And then and then he sees that other dude Trunks, and he could turn into Super Saiyan like Goku, and then it haunts Frieza's memories because like he remembers Goku killed him and destroyed him, almost killed his ass before. So he starts pussing out Frieza, and he's like, oh no, I don't want to do this again, not again, another Super Saiyan? Like, oh shit, shit's about to go down if he's pissing his pants, shit. And after that, like, he defeats him. Trunks looks like he would have lost, but then Frieza's like, "Ah, you die, you bastard," and shit again. And then like after that, I will make this whole planet suffer, and like. Because, like, Goku's the protector of that planet because he wanted to kill Goku so fucking bad because Frieza got killed almost by Goku. Goku beat the living shit out of Frieza, obviously, for the fucking win. And after that, Trunks ends up using this big giant sword. He goes, he slices Frieza in half and, like, boom! He just destroys himself, like, no! And then he's permanently gone. He's never there again. And, like, so what are you going to do about it? Frieza's father tries to defeat him and he gets killed too, like, ugh. Why I underestimate book. And after that, they fight Angels 15, 15, 17. 17 and 18 ends up being a girl. The girl ends up being the one that Krillin likes. And let me just check the channel. I mean, I've been out here 5 minutes. I know I said I was going to go too deep into this. I'm just doing the 3 main parts. That's all. I'm going to finish it up with 2 more other animes and I'll be done. I swear to God, we'll be done. Other than that, excuse me. After that whole shebang happens, you know, they end up finding about Cell, which is one of Dr. Giro's creations. And Dr. Giro used to be a human, then he turned himself into an android. Because he had these little red marks that he could absorb people's powers. And then they find out that Cell has all these powers of all the other fighters, the greatest fighters in the universe, like Krillin, all the Dragon Ball Z gang, basically. They got all the evil villains, too. They got a fucking Nappa, Vegeta, Frieza, you know. He has all those fighting techniques all in the one. So when Cell, the only thing is, Cell has to absorb like 3 androids. Well, actually, no, 2 androids. The first one he has to absorb is Android 17, then he ends up absorbing Android 18 when he gets into his final stage. After he absorbs Android 18, a whole bunch of other people that he kills with this big-ass fucking giant needle tail he has. He makes Frieza look like nothing, obviously. Fucking, what's it called? He finally gets into his perfect Cell stage, which is crazy as shit. And, like, nobody can't defeat him at all when they had the World Games tournament for the universe. And at Hercule, they show him for the first time, which is funny as how they just, oh, it's a trick, you know, like, funny, hilarious. And I found out that the dude that did Hercule's voice, if any My Little Pony fans are out there, if anybody knows the same dude that did Iron Will's voice, it was the same dude that did Hercule's voice. I was like, holy shit, really? Oh my God, he did Hercule's voice off of DVD, because when I saw that Putting Your Hoof Down episode where Fluttershy, she has to go to that little convention and like she goes to talk to Iron Will and he had that same voice, like, I heard that voice from somewhere a long time ago. I was like, I looked up on Wikipedia, it's the same fucking dude, like, oh shit, it was him. You know, it's fucking awesome. I don't remember the dude's name, but I'll put it down there on Wikipedia or some shit, you know. Other than that, you know, the only person that ends up defeating Cell is Gohan. And after he kills everyone, after he kills his father, unfortunately, Goku dies again. He dies a lot, but always gets resurrected from the death in the Dragon Balls. So he can never die, basically. You know, after that, he does his Kamehameha final one, and he blows the shit out of Cell, and Cell dies once and for all. And after that, they do the Majin Buu one, but I'm not going to talk about that one in the GT series. Go find it yourself. I'm sorry. It's probably 27, 28 minutes. Yeah. The last 2, I'm just going to say the names, and I'll be done with this video. So, I did all this. The ones I'm just going to go over, I did Card Captors, I did Ghost in the Shell Standalone Conference, I did Hamtaro, I did Lupin the Third, I did Digimon, I did Detective Conan, Future Boy Conan. I did Fullmetal Alchemist, I did Dragon Ball Z, GT, and beyond. And then last 2, I'm not going to get into. You're going to have to do your research on your own. I'm probably going to do it in my other video when I talk about all the anime characters. Not right now. There's Inuyasha, and then Pokemon Generation 1, 2, and 3 were pretty good. I didn't like Generation 4 and 5 that much because it looked a little cheesy. I liked the games for it, but I didn't like the anime that much. And if they make the 5th generation, probably not going to be that good, but if they make the game for it, that'd be great. And Inuyasha is basically, long story short, he's a demon. He's trying to find this guy named Araku because he killed Kikyo, and he's got to get revenge on her. That's all I got to say about that part. Pokemon, that basically explains itself. I'm going to get to that in another video. Basically, it's about Ash catching all the Pokemon, and, you know, Pikachu, and all the starter Pokemon, etc., etc., etc. And he's always saying he's going to be the Pokemon master, but every time they make a new Pokemon generation, it's like, he's got to catch those all over again. So it's like he's never going to be a Pokemon master, but he's always going to be a Pokemon trainer. Okay, and then the bonuses I had on here, I didn't get enough time to explain, was Bleach and One Piece. So that's all I got to say. Peace out. I'm going late, and have a good day. Bye.